friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica, and today's video is another episode of my monthly series, Random Ranking, where basically I just sit down and choose 10 palettes at random out of my collection, and then I rank them for you. I have all of my eyeshadow palettes written down in this notebook here, and I just use my other phone. I have a random generator app on my other phone, and I just choose 10 palettes at random and then I rank them. I think I've already said that like 3 times, but anyway, you're going to get a lot of repetition here on my channel. Oh, yes, you are. Now, of course, this is just for fun. Ranking can be difficult for me to do depending on like the palettes I use throughout the month. Like I do like a roundup type video where I'll show you the palettes I use throughout the month, and I'll show you pictures of the looks that I created. And sometimes I can rank the palettes I use throughout the month, and sometimes it's just absolutely impossible because they're all so amazing and I loved them all so much. So this is just for fun. You know, I think people really enjoy ranking videos, and I'm trying to get better at ranking. And maybe that's dumb, but that's what I'm trying to do in this series. So again, I do have my palettes written down. I have my other phone right here. I'm going to go into my random ranking generator appy poo and choose 10 palettes at random for you. I do mark them off on my list so that I don't continue to rank the same palettes over and over again, because that would be kind of dumb. And I think I have 234 eyeshadow palettes. If I haven't used the palette, I won't rank it, because how can you rank a palette you haven't used, right? Okay, so 1 to 234, done. Now let's generate and see. 142. Okay, let me see what that palette is. Hopefully I've used it, and hopefully I haven't ranked it already. I don't think so. No, this is the Nabla Platinum Cutie palette. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2. 144. All right. That is the Natasha Denona Jubilee palette. Ooh, haven't ranked that one yet either, or pulled that into this series yet either. Okay. Let's see. 21. All right. 21. That is the BH Royal Affair palette. Ooh, yeah. Love that palette. Okay. 134. Alrighty, that is the Morphe Boss Mood. Ooh, I love that palette. This might be tough. Might be real tough. Okay, let's see here. 174. Okay, can you see that? 174. All right. It gets so glary, it's hard to see sometimes. Oh, I've already done that one. Okay, hold on. 171. Ooh, the Rock and Roll Def Leppard palette. Rock and Roll Beauty Def Leppard. Yeah. Okay. I don't know where I'm at. I'm going to have to count and see where I'm at. 76. 76. That's the Elf Hot Jalapeno. Love that one too. That's a great palette. Okay, so this is the 7th palette. 156. There we go. I haven't used that one yet. It's the Natasha Denona Mini Zendo palette that Janny gifted me. I haven't used it yet. I got to use that. 189. Okay. Ooh, the Sydney Grace Tiny Marbles palette. Oh, wonderful. Okay, so this is the 8th palette. 31. And that's the BH Cosmetics Cotton Candy palette. Alrighty. 9th palette. 224. I don't think I've used it yet. Let's see. No, haven't used it yet. That's the Allure 2 that Janny sent me. 150. Okay. Ooh, the Nomad Fire and Ice Iceland palette. Oh, geez, this is going to be hard ranking. Okay, and then the last one here is 119. Okay. 119. That is... Ooh, the Ladybug Glow Pond Lily palette. You guys, this might be tough for me to rank. Okay, so I'm going to go round those palettes up. I'll be right back. Okay, so I got them all ranked. It didn't take me as long as I thought it was going to. I thought it would take me a hot minute to get these ranked, but it really didn't take me that long. I also want to say that I do love all of my eyeshadow palettes. I really do. I would not have them in my collection if I didn't love them. It's just some... maybe I love a little bit more than others, but I really struggle with saying that because I don't want to hurt any of their feelings. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the lowest ranked palette and then obviously work my way up to the number 1 ranked palette. Okay, so number 10. I gave that to the e.l.f. Hot Jalapeno little quad here. And, you know, I really enjoy playing with this palette. It's really nice. These were what, $3? I mean, e.l.f. really was ingenious at putting together these quads and having the price point be $3. I mean, that was ingenious because they all work really well. I used to have like 4 or 5 of these, and I did declutter all of them except for this one, just because I wasn't really using them. But they were really good. All of the ones I've had have been really good. It's just this one I felt like was the best out of the ones that I tried. And I really enjoy the matte shades in here, and I love the shimmers. These are mattes, these are shimmers. I just feel like they blend well. They work together really well. And I mean, you know, it's a monochromatic palette. There's not a lot of guesswork, but every time I've ever put a look together with this palette, which has been 5 or 6 times, I love the look. I really, really do. And this would be perfect to travel with. So yeah, I mean, it was a little struggly with ranking this in the last rank spot, but you know, the other palettes I chose, I just felt like it belonged in number 10. Okay, number 9, I gave to the Nabla Platinum Cutie palette. And this was a little tricky too, but I don't use this a ton anymore. But the formulation is absolutely stunning. And this silver shimmer is one of, it used to be my favorite, but it's one of my favorite silver shimmers I have in my collection. Why don't I use this as often? I don't know. I used it quite a bit when I first got it, even though it doesn't really look like it. But I would basically just stick to these 2 mattes and then this shimmer shade. That was it. I don't think I've even used these 2 shimmers. I've used that one before. So you know what? This will be coming in a Throwback Thursday video for sure. Maybe I'll pull that in this week. I think I will. I think I will use this palette for my Throwback Thursday video this week. Why not? I've thought about decluttering it just because it doesn't get a lot of love, but it's such a lovely formulated palette. It really is, and easy. You know, again, more monochromatic, not a ton of guesswork, but this silver shimmer will knock your socks off, I promise you. Number 8, I gave to the BH Cosmetics Sweet Shop Cotton Candy Palette. I really do enjoy playing with this. I just pulled this in a few episodes back to a Throwback Thursday video and really liked the look that I put together. And now that I'm loving pink shadows, I really am. I really do love pink shadows. I do need to play with the pinks in here. I stuck more to this area of the palette when I used it for that look for Throwback Thursday. But the Sweet Shop palettes, one of BH Cosmetics, if not the BH Cosmetics best formulation of a palette. That made no sense. It's BH Cosmetics best palettes that they've made. Okay, that's easier for me to explain. Is it? I can't explain anything, but I love it. It wasn't easy for me to rank it in the 8th spot, but in terms of the other palettes, I could say that about all of these. Why do I keep doing this to myself? Number 7, I gave to the BH Cosmetics Royal Affair palette. Now, not this particular palette, but I have 2 of these actually. The other one that I have in my collection was like the second palette, like the second real eyeshadow palette I ever tried. And I just fell in love with BH Cosmetics at that point. Now, Micah, my dear friend, Floating in Dreams, I will link her channel in my description box. She knew how much I love this palette, and she knew that the one that I had was old and panned and maybe not working the greatest anymore. So she gifted this to me, and this will definitely be coming in a Throwback Thursday video. I did do a old school series. That's what I used to do. Like once a month, I would do an old school series video. But now that I'm doing them weekly, this will definitely come back in to my channel, of course. I just think this is such a wonderful palette for beginners. It's got the neutral base, but then some really pretty pops of color. Nothing is overwhelming about this palette. The shadows are pigmented, but not like too pigmented. They blend really well. And I just think this is a beautiful color story. And everything, I feel like everything pretty much goes together. You know, you can start off creating eyeshadow looks with this palette and be very successful, and I think very happy with how the looks turn out. So yeah, love it. Let's see, that's what, 10, 8, 9, 6. The 6th ranked palette is the Natasha Denona Jubilee palette. This will also be coming in a Throwback Thursday. I've actually had this on my calendar like 3 times and then changed my mind and grabbed something else. I don't know why, because I love this. I really do. Love the shimmers here. This is, well, this is kind of a satin. And then the mattes here. I thought this was a black matte. So the first time I used it, I got this in a BoxyCharm, sat down to film a video with it, dip into that shade, start slapping it on my eyelids, and I'm like, this is navy blue. And it's not really a matte. It's like, I think it's a satin. I'd swatch it, but I don't really want to right now because I think I still have some hairspray. This light always comes off. I think I still have some hairspray on my hands. So anyway, I just was kind of thrown for a loop with that. But the shimmers in here, these two, this yellow and this green, are so incredibly gorgeous. Oh, they are so gorgeous. I think I would have preferred to have a little bit more depth for the mattes. Like I would have liked for this shade to be maybe a little bit darker brown, I guess. I don't know. I do love how I can create looks with this palette, though. I really do. I mean, it's a smaller palette, great for travel. Not easy for me to rank where I did, but I did it. Number 5 is the, is that right? 5, 4, yeah. 5 is the Morphe Boss Mood palette. Now this palette has got such a gorgeous color story because it's got the earthy tones, the grungy tones. I think this is a perfect palette for fall. I mean, I don't ever really base my looks on the season. Sometimes, every once in a while I might. But if you're someone that likes to do that, I definitely think that this is perfect for fall. I mean, this is a huge palette. There's lots of options in here. But how beautiful. The purples and the grungy greens, like the olivey greens, I think are so cool together. And then, you know, you've got some neutral options here. You know what I'm seeing is like, this could be a look, this could be a look, these could be a look, you know, like sectioning the palette up, I think is really fun. I've used this maybe 3 times and I've really enjoyed the looks and I really enjoy the quality of this palette. And I know Morphe's not everyone's favorite, but I really like this palette a lot. I really do. Okay, number 4 is the, don't fall off. Do not fall off. Hold on. Okay. Jeez, I got this palette palooza going on. Number 4 is the Def Leppard palette from Rock and Roll Beauty. I love the outer packaging. We've got the Def Leppard. And I love this eyeshadow palette. This was a very pleasant surprise for me. This is the Hysteria album cover too, which I love. So I saw this online. Well, first, Makeup by PW. She and I both love Def Leppard. So she reached out to me and she said, have you been on to the Rock and Roll Beauty website? You need to go check it out because they're releasing a Def Leppard palette. So of course I saw the palette. I mean, I saw the picture of it and I thought the color story was awesome. But then when I got it and looked at it in person, I was like, does this say Def Leppard? It just seemed too soft and maybe too subtle for me. But I've used the palette, of course, and I fell in love with it. I really do like this color story. I really do. And the formulation of the shadows in here, really, really nice. Really nice. The mattes are really nice. The shimmers are more satiny. I wouldn't say there's like a true shimmer in here necessarily, but I've loved playing with this. And this will be coming in a Throwback Thursday too. I just love it. It's fun. It does say Def Leppard to me more than it used to, I guess. You know, just took me a minute to get used to the color story or to accept the color story equaling Def Leppard. Okay, number 3 is the Tiny Marvels palette from Sydney Grace. And this was done by Mel Thompson, who was a creator on this platform who sadly and just so unfortunately passed away 3 years ago, I think it was. 3, right? 3 years. She was one of my favorite creators here on this platform, and I was very late to Mel's party, very late. I mean, she was very popular and tons of people knew who she was by the time I discovered her. I found her one Saturday morning as I was laying in bed, scrolling through my YouTube feed. She just happened to pop up and I don't know, I was just captivated by her. So I clicked on her video and then spent 2 days, maybe 3 days, just binge watching her content. Just fell in love with her. And she was a huge fan of Sydney Grace, loved the brand, and this is the color story that she put together. And I think this is so gorgeous and everything works in here so well. And I cannot wait to pull this palette into actually, this might come in a multiple looks video. I think it will. I'm going to be doing multiple looks videos on my channel for the next 25 years, but that's okay. And my dear friend and subscriber, Tara, she recommended that I try Sydney Grace during one of their Christmas and July sales. And that was one of the best makeup decisions I ever made. And the best makeup advice I was ever given was to try Sydney Grace because this palette is truly exceptional. It really is. And to have, you know, Mel in my collection, I mean, in palette form is wonderful. It really is. It's very special to me. And this is a palette that I have that weird thing with where I want to use it, but I don't want to use it because I want it to stay perfect. I got to use this soon. Multiple look video. It's coming. Okay, number 2 is the Nomad Cosmetics Fire and Ice Iceland palette. I know I've said this story 1,000 times. I was not going to get this palette because I thought the color story was really bizarre. And Steph, not your basic Steph, my best friend and my sister, she gifted this to me for my birthday a couple of years ago because it's her favorite Nomad palette. She's like, sis, you got to try this. I'm telling you, get over your weird self and try the palette. And this has become one of my favorite Nomad palettes. I can't say it's my favorite though. I really can't because the Royal Europe has that in my heart now. Oh, so good. But this is a very close second to that. It was the Berlin Underground for a long time too. Love the Berlin Underground, still do. But this and the Royal Europe has just kind of superseded the Berlin Underground. I've gotten over my fear of this color story. It's so fun to put looks together with this palette. They turn out so beautifully. Everything works so well in a Nomad eyeshadow palette. The only palette I was not thrilled with was the Ghost Town and then the Fleur de Provence. I ended up gifting, is that what that palette was called? I gifted that to Julie just because she loves pinks and I knew I was never really going to use the pinks. Although now I probably would, but I didn't then. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. Sorry. But yeah, the color story, even though it's kind of funky, it's funky in the best way possible. And I did do a 2 looks video with this. Really liked the looks that I put together. I think the looks that I put together with this were maybe not as predictable as some of my other looks sometimes can be. So that was really fun. But yeah, love this palette. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And of course, the palette in the #1 spot, you guys know, I'm sure. The Pond Lily from Ladybug Glow, my favorite brand. And this will be coming in a multiple looks video. I'm still going to keep doing my 2 looks videos with my Ladybug Glow palettes. It's just, of course, I get other things and then my attention gets drawn to that. But I definitely want to continue to do the 2 looks videos with these palettes. And I just think this color story is so beautiful and so unique and so different. I love the formulation of the shimmers. Oh, Ladybug Glow shimmers are impeccable. Also their mattes. You know, this is just a really fun, interesting, unique palette. And these types of palettes, I don't think come along every day, you know? And that's what I love about this brand so much is just how unique the palettes, color stories, packaging, all of it, you know, just very special and unique and beautiful. And this had to be #1 because I love the brand so much. So let me know if you guys have any of these palettes, how you would have ranked them and what you think of my ranking. And of course, the next episode of Random Ranking will be coming at you next month. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your lives to sit down and watch this video. If you're new here and you enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing, smash the like button, and of course, comment down below in the comment section. I love to chat with you guys there. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video. But in the meantime, please take very good care of yourself, be well, safe, happy, and I will see you soon. Bye.
Drop it.